Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zain, and I'm coming on to bring a message for the chosen. If you find that this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know how it resonates with your circumstance. So, first of all, chosen, I want to talk to you all about the agenda to silence you. Now, as of lately, there has been this common theme across social media platforms where videos are being removed out of nowhere for very, very suspicious reasons, right? I personally have experienced this as of recently where a video was removed from a year ago. A year ago, y'all. Now, this video has been up for quite some time now, but apparently, what was mentioned concerning the scripture, Revelations 2, verses 9, specifically, that's what they highlighted. When I read the scripture out of their biblical text, Revelations 2, verse 9, verbatim, the video was taken down for that reason. There is an agenda to silence you by all means necessary. And when I say by all means, I mean by all means, okay? We are in the age of I know, and the powers that were are very, very clear that they can no longer hide things from us, right? So we're going to gain the truth. We're going to investigate. We are pulling back the veil, and we are seeing things, not just through our natural eyes, but also through our spiritual eyes, right? So we are able to interpret the truth. And it doesn't take a whole lot for us to figure these things out today because we are not submerged in the conditioning and the illusions that they fed us in the past, right? We've detached from those things. So while they cannot stop us from knowing, they will use every measure possible to stop us from communicating these truths. So at this point, they're like, okay, well, you know, but just make sure that you don't share it with anyone else. And definitely don't share it in a way where it can spread like wildfire. So for those of you who are true speakers out there, just know that these beings are being very petty with how they're moving. And we have to call judgment, y'all. Judgment has to be called to reestablish our position to be able to freely speak the truth and to call it out for what it is. We're going to have to light a candle collectively because this is spiritual warfare. Anytime you try to put a muzzle on the mouth of a human being who has every right to speak truth and tell them that they are not allowed to do that, you are overstepping your boundaries because there's a line that must be drawn. And see, these beings have given themselves a crown that they didn't deserve from the very beginning, and they most certainly do not deserve to have it now. And this is why we're watching so many empires fall right before our eyes. Now, if you want to join in on the declaration, I strongly suggest you get a blue candle representing the throat chakra. And we're going to do a ritual to reestablish our freedom of speech. I declare and decree. This is what we're going to write on the candle. I'm just going to say something off my head verbatim. Of course, feel free to add or take away in whatever means you see fit. I declare and decree that the freedom to speak truth, to speak from a space of integrity, righteousness, and truth is now reestablished for myself and all chosen seeds across the four corners of the globe. I declare and decree that the freedom to speak truth from a space of righteousness and integrity is now firmly established for myself and all chosen seed across the four corners of the globe. Write that down in spirit and in flesh at the end. And let that candle burn and give thanks to the Most High and your spiritual team for activating our request and for ensuring that every single being who is out here with the intention of blocking us from being able to bring forth the truth. Because it's one thing if you're stopping people from speaking things that are outright lies, right? It's another thing when people are discovering the truth and speaking the truth and you still try to stop them. Why? Because the truth, what? It exposes you. Because it removes the smoke screens and illusions that kept people walking around as sleeple and sheeple and walking zombies to bend at your will and to just passively exist while these beings have all of the power, all of the money, all of the authority. This is what they want you to believe. It's an intimidation tactic to get you to really, really, really be mindful of what you're saying and careful. But see, what they have to understand is that the chosen seed, we have been gifted in so many different areas of our life that the Most High is not going to see us without. When we do our due diligence to carry out our divine assignments, we get blessed beyond measure. So when they think that they're doing something to try to intimidate, to try to make you think that, oh, well, we'll shut you down if XYZ, if you say this or if you say that, really, all they're doing is establishing more karma for themselves. Fact of the matter is, the message already got out there. And the people that were supposed to hear it already received it. It already penetrated deep enough into their soul and their spirit where they recognize truth when they hear it. Their agenda is to cut out your tongue, chosen. It reminds me of a series that I watched called Chaos. You have to go check it out. I watched it on Netflix specifically. It's called Chaos. And this series was very eerie for me because they put it out in 2024. They canceled it after the first season. And it really was very similar to all of the messages that I've been bringing forward for the past few years on my channel. Okay. Very, very similar. It's almost like they listened and they took it and packaged it up and put it in a series. It's really. And so in this particular series, the high priestess would have their tongues removed and they would take their tongues and they would store it away so that whatever the high priestess heard, the tongue would speak. It's kind of hard to describe, but they would hear the messages that would come through the ears of the high priestess. And the tongue would just kind of move, even though their tongue was missing. Okay, it's hard for me to describe. Just go watch the series. Chaos, K-A-O-S. That's how it's spelled on Netflix. And you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. That's their objective, is to remove the tongue of the high priest and the high priestess, because they know that we see past the veil. Our spiritual eyes gives us access to truths that the average person is not able to access or understand. So they're out here sifting through to see who is getting too close to the truth, right? Who is exposing them in manners that they're not ready to accept. And they're using these so-called intimidation tactics to try and make you believe that you're not allowed to speak against them. Anyone who operates with a lack of integrity puts themselves at the forefront of being judged. And these beings have done just that. And so it's definitely time that judgment is called in another way. We have to reestablish our position to be able to speak freely and openly. This world does not belong to any group of people, okay? They have this whole misconception is just completely misconstrued from even when you think about paying property taxes, and this is kind of off subject, but it's still on topic. Paying property taxes. You buy your house, you pay it off, but you're paying for the property that it sits on. Who are you paying? Who is claiming ownership of the land that you sit on to say, well, you got to pay me now? Yeah, it's like you're renting out the space. Who said that? Where are these people that claim that they own the land? These beings are outright bullies, and everything about what they've been doing behind the scenes is being exposed. And so now I'm sure that they recognize that even those beings, specifically here in America, who believed in the powers that were, who went and said, hey, I want this particular person to be in rulership over me and my family and to decide how things move and to make up the laws and the rules and regulations and policies. I want this particular person. Those people who believed in a system are now seeing front row and center that this system is not what they thought it was. And I'm loving the fact that they keep exposing themselves, because what's getting ready to happen is the more that they try to silence us, the louder it's going to be when it comes to them exposing themselves. Not intentionally they're doing this, but it's like the Most High saying, if you are going to shut down and attempt to silence the voice of my children, then I'm going to force you to tell on yourself. And that's exactly what they are doing every day that you watch these clowns put themselves out there and speak on particular things. They are telling on themselves, every last one of them. So if that's the game that they want to play, then they can play that game, but trust and believe the truth will be revealed whether they like it or not. There's a total reset that's happening, and these beings are pushing back with everything in them in hopes that we will surrender. But it's not going to happen. So I will say this, for those of you who have my email address, if you don't have it already, save it in your phone. Take a screenshot of it. Shoot me, an email just saying I'm just storing this for, somehow store my email address. That way you're able to access me if there's any reason why these beings decide that what I have said is too much, it's too many truths that's been exposed. Okay. And if there's any interference with this channel for whatever reason, you have my email address. That way you will know what platform I will be rerouting to. Okay. There's always a way to get a message out there. We just have to be strategic in how we move, because while they are trying to silence us, the more that they try to silence us, the more that they will outright blatantly tell on themselves. That's what we're speaking. That's also what we need to add on the candle. For every time that they attempt to silence the chosen, they will tell on themselves out loud, full-fledged. Okay? Completely illuminate their corruption in spirit and in flesh. We can't keep on tolerating this. So if they want to bring warfare, we have to take it to the spiritual realm and bring spiritual warfare to them. And it's not going to miss, because righteousness always prevails. That's my message for you all. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. I love you, and I'll talk to you all next time.